You know the feeling. You open your eyes in the morning, and before your mind even catches up, your spirit is already reacting. Your chest feels heavy, your breath short, your heart beating in a rhythm that doesn't match the peaceful room around you. You lie there for a moment, fully aware that something happened, something important, something spiritual, something that did not originate from this world. There's a weight on your chest that doesn't belong to the physical realm, and an impression lingering in your soul like footprints on soft sand. And yet, there are no details, no images, no dialogue, no storyline to hold on to, just a knowing, a whisper, an echo without a voice. It feels like waking up from an encounter that evaporated the moment. Consciousness touched it. You strain to recall it, but the harder you try, the more it dissolves. And in that moment, you wonder, why would God give me a dream I can't even remember? Why do I wake up with impact but no information? But what if the forgetting is not a failure? What if the forgetting is protection? Because spiritually, heaven has its reasons. Scripture tells us in Job 33:14-15 that God speaks through dreams, through night whispers, through visions sealed in the silence of sleep. The realm of dreams is one of God's oldest and most intimate communication systems. It's where warnings are delivered, assignments are released, realignments are commanded, and destinies are adjusted without the interference of human logic. But here is the part most people never hear. Sometimes God hides the dream from your conscious mind because the message was too holy for the enemy to intercept. The enemy cannot steal what you cannot remember. He cannot sabotage what he cannot see. He cannot twist what has been hidden behind spiritual encryption. There are dreams meant for your spirit, not your mind, and that is divine strategy. Some dreams are sealed to protect your next season. Some dreams are encrypted to guard your prophetic instruction. Some dreams bypass your memory because God doesn't want the enemy tracking the blueprint he placed inside you. You are not waking up empty. You are waking up protected, and the fact that you found this message even right now is not random, accidental, or coincidental. Chosen ones rarely stumble into revelation. They are drawn into it. There is a reason your heart has felt different from others since childhood, a reason you sense things before they happen, a reason you walk through battles others don't see coming, a reason your spirit reacts to the unseen while others sleep through it. You were not meant to fit in because you were not designed for ordinary assignments. You are chosen, you are set apart, you are marked. Heaven drew you here because you are ready for understanding, not the shallow kind, but the deep spiritual revelation that belongs only to those with the capacity to carry it. God does not waste teaching on those who cannot steward it. If He brought you here, it means there is a truth unrolling in your life that needs interpretation, grounding, and spiritual covering. This introduction is not just a beginning, it is an invitation to lean in, to allow your spirit to receive what your mind has not yet caught, to declare silently, even now, I am ready. I want to understand what God has been speaking to me in the night, because at the end of this message, there is something more than explanation. There is a prayer crafted with intention, aligned with Scripture, and spiritually charged that unlocks what has been sealed. A prayer that has helped many regain clarity, memory, and alignment in their dream life, but only when prayed with readiness. This is why you must walk through this message slowly, fully, intentionally, not skimming, not rushing, absorbing spirit to spirit. For the mystery of your forgotten dreams is not a loss, it is a clue, a signpost, a spiritual fingerprint left by heaven, and by the time you reach the end, you will no longer fear the dreams you forget. You will understand the strategic, protective, prophetic reason behind every single one. Chosen one. You are here by divine appointment. Stay with me. The revelation begins now. When you close your eyes at night, you are not simply slipping into rest. You are stepping into a world that exists behind your eyelids. A realm that operates outside the boundaries of the physical one you walk in during the day. And so, When we speak of dreams as spiritual places rather than fantasies, we are acknowledging a truth that heaven has revealed since ancient times. Your dream life is not an illusion, it is a dimension where God prepares, adjusts, and equips you for the reality you are called to walk out on earth. This means the dream realm is not a playground for random images, but a meeting ground for divine encounters. In the silence of the night, when the noise of your thoughts has finally settled, heaven opens doors that do not open in the light of day. You may think you are resting, but your spirit is engaging. You may believe the dream was symbolic, but in truth, the dream often reveals a deeper reality, the one God sees, the one God knows is coming, the one He is preparing you for. And this is why, when Joel spoke of an outpouring in Joel 2:28, saying, "Your sons and daughters will prophesy, your old men will dream dreams, your young men will see visions," he was not describing a poetic metaphor, he was proclaiming a season, and that season is now. We are living in a generation where God is using dreams and visions more intensely, more frequently, and more strategically than ever before. The increase in spiritual dreams among the chosen ones is not a random surge, it is the fulfillment of prophecy. This generation is witnessing an awakening of dreamers, people who hear God in images and impressions while the world sleeps. People who do not need a pulpit or a platform because heaven speaks to them in ways that bypass human systems entirely. Your dream life is not an accident of the night. It is evidence that prophecy is unfolding through you, within you, around you. And so, as this prophetic outpouring increases, many of God's chosen ones find themselves waking up with urgency and impressions that feel sacred, even if they cannot articulate why. This is more than emotion, it is the sign of being marked by heaven. When you wake with your heart pounding for no reason, or with a heaviness in your spirit you cannot explain, or with a presence lingering in the room long after the dream has faded from your memory, it is because your spirit encountered something your mind was not meant to hold. Your mind is the container of thoughts. Your spirit is the container of revelation. This is why your spirit receives what your mind cannot recall. This is why you wake up changed even when the dream storyline is missing. This is why the atmosphere feels different, even if the images have disappeared. Some chosen ones describe it as waking up with a holy residue, a feeling that something sacred happened, something weighty was delivered, something significant took place in the unseen realm. And they are right. But heaven does not always allow the conscious mind to access the details, because the mind is vulnerable to attack, interpretation, doubt, and interference. The Spirit, however, holds revelation with purity, and this truth leads us to something essential. Your dreams carry assignments. They are not random emotional expressions. They are not leftover images from your day. They are not meaningless flashes of imagination. They are blueprints. They are warnings. They are weapons. They are instructions. Think of how God guided Joseph through dreams, revealing the future, positioning him to protect nations, exposing danger before danger could strike. Think of how the wise men were warned in a dream not to return to Herod. Think of how Jacob's entire life trajectory was altered by one night encounter. Dreams have always been heaven's method of placing assignments directly into the hearts of the chosen. Your dream life is the preparation room of destiny. Some dreams deliver blueprints, spiritual maps that prepare you for the next season. Some dreams deliver warnings, signals, alerting your spirit to danger before it manifests. Some dreams release weapons, battles fought and won in the night that prevent warfare in the day. Some dreams give instructions, divine strategies that unlock breakthrough and alignment. And when these assignments are too sensitive, too holy, too strategic, heaven allows only your spirit to receive them. The mind is intentionally left out, not because God is hiding from you, but because God is protecting you. This is why you, chosen one, sometimes wake up with no memory, but an overwhelming sense that something important has taken place. The assignment was given, the battle was fought, the alignment was made, the deposit was sealed, And the fact that you feel it, even without remembering it, is proof that heaven is actively working behind the scenes of your life. Your dreams are not fantasies. They are the language of destiny, whispered in the night, concealed from your enemies, and carried by your spirit into your waking hours. And now that you understand this hidden reality, we move forward into the deeper unveiling of why you were chosen to dream this way. When we try to understand why certain dreams slip away the moment we wake, we must first acknowledge a profound spiritual truth. Memory belongs to the mind, but revelation belongs to the spirit. This is where Isaiah 55:9 becomes more than a verse. It becomes a lens. My thoughts are higher than your thoughts. God's ways, God's strategies, and God's communication do not always align with human logic. And so, when He speaks to your spirit in the dream realm, He is not limited by the structures or limitations of your conscious mind. The mind stores information, but the spirit holds revelation. Two very different realities. This is why the dreams that matter most often never make it into your conscious recall. The human mind deals with language, images, and logic. The spirit deals with truth, transformation, and destiny. What God plants in your spirit during the night is not something meant to be handled or analyzed through human reasoning. It is something meant to shape you, shift you, prepare you, and align you, even if you have no memory of what was revealed. And as we move deeper, we begin to understand that this forgetfulness is not an accident, it is protection. There are dreams too holy to be recalled prematurely. There are prophetic instructions too delicate to be exposed to the vulnerability of early interpretation. There are assignments so significant that any hint of them could trigger spiritual attacks before you are ready to carry them out. God hides holy things the way kings hide strategic plans, far from enemy eyes. If the enemy cannot read your dream, he cannot disrupt your next step. If he cannot access the details, he cannot sabotage your assignment. If he cannot interpret what God whispered, he cannot interfere with its unfolding. And so, forgetting becomes a form of divine shielding. Your dream is not lost, it is encrypted. Your spirit receives the revelation fully, but your mind is intentionally left out to prevent interference. It is heaven's way of ensuring that what is meant for you stays with you, untouched, uncorrupted, and unseen by forces that would oppose it. The enemy cannot attack what he cannot trace. He cannot block what he cannot see. He cannot alter what he cannot access. This is why some of the most powerful dreams vanish upon waking. Their potency is too great, their timing too sensitive, their purpose too essential for your conscious mind to carry them prematurely. And so, heaven protects them by hiding them. Then comes the deeper truth. Forgetting is not loss, it is a fortress. God seals revelation the way a gardener plants seeds in the soil, burying them not to discard them, but to protect them until the right time to grow. What is hidden is not gone. What is unseen is not absent. What you do not remember is still shaping you from within. Just as a seed grows underground long before the sprout breaks the surface, the revelation you cannot recall is already working in your spirit, strengthening you, transforming you, preparing you. God does not waste a single message He gives to your spirit. He does not speak without purpose. He does not release without intention. If He hid the dream, He hid it for your good. Forgetting is not failure. It is strategy. It is divine timing. It is protection wrapped in silence. And this leads us to one of the most comforting truths for the chosen ones. There is an appointed time for unveiling. God's timing is not random. Heaven operates on seasons and moments, kairos times, where what was hidden becomes revealed all at once. There will come a moment when clarity floods your spirit, not because you forced memory, but because God releases understanding at the exact second it becomes necessary for your assignment. Some revelations are too heavy for you to understand before the foundation beneath you is ready. Some instructions require maturity. You are still developing. Some dreams contain insight that would overwhelm you if seen too early. So God waits, He watches, He strengthens you, he prepares you, and then, at the appointed time, he unveils. And when he unveils, it will not come as a faint memory or a half-recalled image. It will come as sudden clarity, a knowing, a recognition, a deep alignment that feels like truth rising from the inside, rather than information coming from the outside. You will not remember the dream. You will become the dream's fulfillment. This is why divine encryption exists, not to withhold, but to prepare, not to limit, but to protect, not to confuse, but to ensure that revelation reaches you in the exact way, at the exact time, for the exact purpose it was designed. You do not remember because you were never meant to recall the dream. You were meant to live out what your spirit already received. And as we continue forward, you will begin to understand not only why the dream was hidden, but what it means for your calling, your identity, and the destiny unfolding around you. To understand what truly happens when you close your eyes at night, you must recognize a profound truth. For the chosen ones, sleep is not merely rest, it is battleground. While the physical body lies still, the spirit is fully awake, fully aware, and fully engaged in realms your conscious mind cannot perceive. This is why you often wake up exhausted after a night where you were supposed to rest. Your body slept, but your spirit fought. Your flesh lay down, but your inner man stood guard. The night is not empty, it's spiritual territory. And as we unwrap this deeper reality, we begin to see why the enemy fights those who dream. The enemy does not waste resources on people who pose no threat. He attacks dreamers because dreamers carry revelation. He targets those with spiritual sight, because those who see in the spirit cannot be manipulated in the natural. When your purpose starts to awaken, when your identity begins to rise, when your calling becomes clearer, even if only internally the enemy senses it before you do, your warfare increases because your value increases. Your night battles intensify because heaven's assignment over your life is becoming undeniable. That is why dreamers often carry the heaviest nighttime resistance. The enemy attacks what he fears. He tries to silence what he cannot control. He attempts to disrupt what he cannot destroy. If you have experienced sudden fear upon waking, unpredictable nightmares, or attacks that seem to come out of nowhere, understand this. It is not a sign that you are weak. It is confirmation that you are spiritually significant. And then there are the moments that feel like alarms going off in the spirit realm. Those sudden jolts awake at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., or just before dawn. Those moments when your chest feels heavy, when your atmosphere shifts, when you sense a presence you cannot explain. These are not random. These are not coincidences. These are spiritual alarms, signaling activity in the unseen realm. Many chosen ones report waking up feeling watched, pressured, or spiritually dragged. Others describe hearing voices, footsteps, whispers, sounds no one else seems to notice. Some experience sleep paralysis, where the spirit is alert, but the body cannot move. These experiences are not psychological, they are spiritual. This is your discernment, waking up, your spirit resisting, your inner warrior being trained in the night watch. The enemy strikes during these vulnerable hours because the veil is thinner, your body is resting, and your conscious defenses are down. Yet he forgets one thing: your spirit never sleeps. The true part of you, the eternal part God formed before the foundations of the world, remains awake, aware, and aligned, even when your eyes are closed. You may feel paralyzed in the physical, but your spirit is fully capable of warfare. You may feel pressure on your chest, but your spirit is pushing back. The enemy may whisper lies, but your spirit recognizes truth. What feels like an attack is often a signal that your spiritual senses are sharpening, and yet, the most astonishing truth is this: God uses every attack the enemy sends. What was meant to frighten you becomes the very thing that strengthens your discernment. What was meant to intimidate you becomes training for higher authority. What was meant to break your peace becomes the catalyst for awakening your inner warrior. You begin to see patterns, demonic cycles, spiritual triggers, generational shadows. things you never would have recognized without the night battles pressing against you. God does not allow night attacks to torment you. He allows them to reveal the unseen war so you can rise with clarity and authority. Every time the enemy tries to invade your sleep, God exposes another tactic, another weakness, another angle of spiritual warfare. You are not being weakened, you are being taught. You are not being overwhelmed, you are being equipped. The very resistance you face in the night is sharpening your spirit for the destiny that unfolds in the day. Think of it this way: warriors are not trained on pillows, they are trained in battlefields, and the chosen ones are trained in the silent hours, the hours where no one sees, no one claps, no one understands. You are being shaped in darkness for what you will carry in the light. The enemy attacks you at night. When you start to understand the mystery of how heaven handles your dreams, you begin to see that God often seals what is holy long before he reveals what is destined. Just as ancient scrolls were wrapped, tied, and locked until the appointed time, so too does God protect certain dreams by hiding them deep within your spirit. These dreams are not lost, they are sealed. They are not forgotten, they are guarded. God hides what is sacred because not everything can be exposed before its season. Some dreams would be attacked if they were remembered too early. Some revelations would be mishandled if you understood them prematurely. So God seals them, like treasure buried beneath layers of spiritual protection, ensuring that what he imparted remains untouched until you are ready to carry it. This divine sealing becomes even clearer when we observe the pattern of Joseph, whose entire life is a blueprint for how the dreamers of God are shaped. Joseph received his dreams early, but the interpretation, the strategy, the influence, and the authority attached to those dreams were not revealed overnight. His gift was given in a moment, but his maturity was forged in years. Before Joseph stood in the palace, he stood in a pit. Before he interpreted dreams in Egypt, he interpreted loneliness in silence. Before he became a ruler, he became a servant. And what God did with Joseph, he is doing with you, refining your gift in obscurity, so that when the moment of influence comes, you will not crumble under the weight of destiny. Your dream life may feel chaotic right now. Your nights may feel more intense, your emotions heavier, your spiritual sensitivity heightened. But this is not a sign that you are behind. It is a sign that you are becoming. Breakthrough is rarely neat. Maturation is rarely quiet. The closer you are to the unveiling of a new level, the more turbulent the dream realm becomes. It is like the stirring of water before a miracle, the trembling of the earth before a shift, the deep rumbling that signals something ancient and holy is emerging. Chaotic dreams do not mean loss of control. They mean the spiritual womb is contracting. Something long carried is preparing to be birthed. This is why the chosen ones undergo a form of training that is subtle, hidden, and often misunderstood. A training carried out in silence, in simulations, and in shadow work. In silence. Because God teaches your spirit truths, your mind would interrupt. In simulations, because dreams often present symbolic trials that prepare you for real-life challenges you have not yet faced. In shadow work, because God exposes the internal fears, wounds, and spiritual blockages that must be healed before you can step into greater authority. You may have noticed that your dreams sometimes force you into scenarios that test your courage, your discernment, your patience, or your faith. These are not random. They are spiritual rehearsals. They are prophetic classrooms. They are divine simulations designed to strengthen the muscles of your spirit before the real battle arrives. God allows you to face pressure in dreams so you can carry peace in reality. He allows contradictions in the night so you can walk with clarity in the day. He brings unresolved emotions to the surface so nothing in you remains undealt with when elevation comes. And the shadow work, the internal refining that happens when God brings up old wounds through dreams is not punishment, it is purifying. Many chosen ones wonder why painful memories resurface at night. But in God's divine method, the dream realm becomes the operating room where the spirit is refined without the ego interfering. Your spirit confronts what your mind avoids. You face what you once ran from. You heal what you once hid. In dreams, you are exposed not to condemn you, but to cleanse you. Pressure is not proof of abandonment, it is proof of preparation. Discomfort is not evidence of disqualification, it is evidence of transformation. The weight you feel is the shaping of your spiritual stature. The tension in your nights is stretching your spiritual capacity. The contradictions where you feel chosen yet confused, called yet shaken, elevated yet tested, are the very signs that heaven is maturing you for something larger than your current understanding. So if your dreams feel sealed, chaotic, symbolic, or heavy, do not fear. Something inside you is growing, something within you is aligning. God is not silence, He is sculpting. God is not withholding, He is fortifying. God is not delaying, He is developing. You are not behind, you are becoming. The transformation you are undergoing is not gentle or superficial. It is a deep inner reconstruction. And the first sign of this process is that awakening often feels like losing yourself before you ever feel found. When God begins to awaken a chosen one, the earliest stages resemble disorientation, not clarity. You feel parts of your old identity dissolving, habits that once defined you fall away, desires that once felt familiar no longer fit, and the internal structures you built for survival begin to crack under the weight of destiny. This shedding is not failure, it is metamorphosis. Caterpillars do not enter cocoons to improve, they enter to dissolve. They must become unrecognizable before they become unstoppable. And the same is true for you. The discomfort, the confusion, the emotional shedding, it is the dissolving of who you were, so you can rise into who you were always meant to be. As this inner shedding intensifies, something remarkable begins to happen within your dream life. What once felt scattered, symbolic, fragmented, or chaotic begins to shift into something more strategic and spiritually structured. The dreams may still lack clarity to your conscious mind, but your spirit understands what your mind cannot yet translate. In this stage, your spirit stops merely seeing and begins absorbing. This is why even when you forget the dream, you wake up changed. You wake up lighter or heavier, redirected or disturbed, strengthened or sharpened. The dream becomes less about memory and more about impartation. You may not recall the events, the faces, or the sequence, but your spirit retains the alignment. Your dream life becomes less like a movie you watch and more like a classroom your spirit attends. And this is where the difference between spiritual recall and mental memory becomes essential to understand. Many chosen ones feel frustrated because they cannot remember their dreams, but in the realm of the spirit, recall does not operate the same way memory does. What you call forgetting, heaven calls hiding. What you describe as déjà vu, God describes as alignment, your spirit recognizing a moment it encountered long before your mind arrived. That sudden sense of familiarity, that holy echo, that awareness that you've been here before, is not a psychological glitch, it is spiritual confirmation. You are stepping into coordinates your spirit saw in advance. You are walking into rooms your soul rehearsed in dreams. You are meeting people your destiny encountered long before you spoke their names. This distinction is crucial because memory is not where destiny is stored. Destiny is imprinted on the spirit. And this is why chosen ones often endure transformation without receiving constant clarity. God does not mature his vessels by over-explaining. He matures them by strengthening. He matures them by stretching. He matures them by allowing them to walk even when their mind cannot logically map the journey. For chosen ones, clarity is never the proof of calling. Maturity is. God is not interested in making you comfortable. He is interested in making you ready. The lack of recall is not evidence of distance from God. It is evidence of deeper spiritual work being done beneath the surface. In fact, one of the greatest lies the enemy whispers to dreamers is, if you can't remember your dreams, nothing is happening. But that lie shatters the moment you understand the true nature of spiritual formation. Your spirit does not need your permission to mature. Your destiny does not need your memory to activate. Your calling does not depend on recollection, it depends on alignment. Every dream you forgot became a seed planted. Every dream you lost was a blueprint absorbed. Every dream you thought slipped away is playing out in your decisions, your intuition, your discernment, your emotional responses, your perspective, your new levels of wisdom. This is why the chosen ones experience a form of transformation that is deeper than clarity and stronger than certainty. It is the kind of transformation that reshapes the inner landscape long before the outer world reflects what is happening. You may not be able to put the process into words, but you can feel the reconstruction happening, emotional layers breaking down, thought patterns shifting, inner blocks dissolving, spiritual senses awakening. What you are experiencing is not confusion, it is reformation, not chaos, it is rebuilding, not loss, it is rebirth. And as God reconstructs your inner world, He removes everything that cannot travel with you into the next season. You are being prepared not just to receive revelation, but to hold it, not just to remember dreams, but to live them, not just to be awakened, but to be transformed. You are not falling apart. You are falling into alignment. You are not losing yourself. You are losing what was never truly you. This is deep inner reconstruction, holy, hidden, and completely intentional. As we move deeper into the mystery of why God trains His chosen ones through dreams they cannot remember, you must understand that the night is not simply the absence of sunlight. It is the environment where God reveals the parts of you that daylight would distract you from. Your nights are not empty. They are sacred classrooms where the Spirit teaches what the waking world cannot. Sacred classrooms of the night. And when you step into these sacred classrooms, you are not merely sleeping. You are entering spiritual simulations, encounters, and warfare designed specifically for your development. While others lie down simply to rest, you lie down to be instructed. Heaven begins to move around you. Your spirit steps into terrains that look symbolic, strange, or chaotic, but in reality, they are tailored environments created by God to strengthen your discernment, refine your instincts, and shape your inner world. Some dreams are scenarios of warfare, not because you are under attack, but because you are being trained to recognize attacks before they manifest. Some dreams feel like mazes or missions, not because you are lost, but because you are learning to navigate unfamiliar dimensions of purpose. These internal classrooms are where God rehearses victories before they appear in your physical life. Chosen ones often feel exhausted upon waking, not because something is wrong, but because something holy and heavy took place in the night. And the truth is this: the spirit works harder when the body rests, because your spirit is unbound, uncluttered, and unrestricted by physical limitations. This is where spiritual intelligence grows, in the quiet, hidden training of the night. The soul learns before the mind remembers. And when you awaken, wondering why you cannot recall the fullness of what you just lived through, it is because the soul learns before the mind remembers. Transformation begins in silence, beneath layers of consciousness, long before understanding rises to the surface. The chosen ones are shaped inwardly, first, not through visible lessons, but through internal alignment. This is why some mornings you wake up feeling different, even if you cannot trace the dream. You feel lighter, wiser, clearer, or sometimes heavier, sobered, or more aware. You did not lose a dream. You gained a layer of wisdom that your mind hasn't translated yet. Every spiritual dream plants something inside the soul. A seed of courage, a layer of discernment, a new level of spiritual maturity, a dismantling of old fears, an upgrade of spiritual authority. Even if your mind cannot recall, your spirit never forgets. The dream becomes part of your internal structure, that inner shift you can't explain, that sudden clarity you didn't ask for, that intuition you didn't learn from a book. It came from the night, formation versus revelation. And this is where the next truth rises. God prioritizes formation over revelation. Your ego demands to know. Your spirit needs to grow. The ego says, "Why can't I remember?" The spirit says, "Because you're not ready to mishandle what you're meant to embody." Revelation is exciting. Formation is uncomfortable. Revelation feeds curiosity. Formation builds character. Revelation opens doors. Formation teaches you how to walk through them. The dreams you forget aren't withheld to frustrate you. They are withheld to form you. You are not being deprived. You are being shaped. God will never give revelation before he builds the character required to carry it. If you remembered every dream too soon, you would interpret them through old wounds, old identities, or old fears. So instead, God allows the meaning to mature in your spirit long before the details are unveiled. This is why chosen ones often experience internal stretching, emotional discomfort, identity shifts, or spiritual longing without an explanation. You are not falling apart. You are being structured for what you prayed for. Hidden training builds authority. And finally, you must understand this. God develops his strongest vessels in shadows, not in applause. Hidden training is not punishment. It is protection. It is preparation. It is purpose incubating in silence. Authority is not given. It is forged. Clarity is not inherited. It is cultivated. Discernment is not natural. It is trained. You are being shaped when no one sees it. You are being strengthened when no one applauds it. You are being sharpened when no one understands it. This is why your nights feel heavy. This is why your dreams feel intense. This is why your spirit sometimes wakes you up feeling like you lived through an entire lifetime while the world slept. God is not only revealing destiny, he is building the vessel who can carry it. And the night is his workshop. So when you cannot remember, do not think God is distant. He is closer than ever. Your forgetting is not a failure. It is a sign of formation. It is evidence that heaven is working in places your mind is not invited to yet. Chosen one, your night seasons are not a burden. They are your refinement. They are your preparation. They are your becoming. As we come to this final revelation about forgotten dreams, you must understand a truth that unsettles the impatient, yet strengthens the spiritually mature. What God seals, he never loses. He only schedules. And this means that the dreams you cannot recall are not erased. They are preserved. They are waiting for the version of you who has grown enough to carry them without collapsing under their weight. Revelation comes when you're ready, not when you're curious. And this is why revelation does not come when you demand it, but when you are ready for it. Your curiosity cannot unlock what your character is still too fragile to hold. Luke 2:19 shows us Mary chosen, favored, overshadowed by the Holy Spirit, receiving heavenly revelation about Jesus' destiny. Yet she did not parade it, broadcast it, or attempt to explain it. Instead, she stored these things in her heart, letting them mature in silence until the time God ordained. This is the pattern of the chosen. They receive revelation early. They understand it later. They walk it out in the fullness of time. If even Mary, the mother of Jesus, had to hold divine revelation in quiet expectation, why would your destiny be any different? You are not delayed. You are being prepared. The dreams you cannot remember are not absent. They are simply waiting for your spiritual foundation to deepen, your discernment to sharpen, and your emotional landscape to stabilize. God reveals destiny in layers because he is a wise builder. He will not place a prophetic roof on a foundation still under construction. Dreams are archived, not lost. And because God is not wasteful, the dreams you forget are not thrown away. They are archived in the spirit until your maturity catches up to them. The mind may not grasp them, but the spirit stores them like scrolls in a divine library. At the right time, God retrieves them and releases their meaning into your awareness. This is why you sometimes experience sudden flashes of understanding, moments of déjà vu, or deep impressions you cannot trace to any event you remember. That is the archive opening. That is your spirit, unlocking what was stored long before your consciousness was ready. Your dreams are not scattered. Your destiny is not fragmented. Your journey is not directionless. Everything has been carefully catalogued. Visions, symbols, warnings, assignments, all waiting for the maturity that time, pressure, and spiritual fire produce. When God brings something back to your remembrance, it always comes with purpose. He reveals nothing casually. Premature clarity would harm you. And this is why God withholds clarity until the right moment. Premature revelation can be destructive. What blesses you in the right season could break you in the wrong one. Prophetic clarity without the emotional spine, spiritual grounding, or humility to steward it becomes a burden instead of a blessing. If you saw everything too soon, you would misinterpret signs, misjudge assignments, and mishandle spiritual responsibility. If you remembered every dream instantly, your flesh might attempt to self-fulfill what God intends to supernaturally orchestrate. You might speak prematurely, you might move prematurely, you might trust the wrong people. So God, in His protection, allows your spirit to receive the dream while keeping your mind from remembering it. He shields you from your own immaturity. He hides destiny from the versions of you that would have mishandled it. This is not divine silence, it is divine mercy. This is not spiritual neglect, it is spiritual strategy. This is not abandonment, it is alignment. You are not being deprived of clarity. You are being safeguarded until clarity can strengthen you rather than sabotage you. When the veil lifts, it brings assignment. And when the time finally comes, when your character, identity, discipline, and spiritual awareness align, the veil lifts and the dreams return not as fragments, but as fire. They come back in full color, full weight, full meaning. They come back with authority, with urgency, and with assignment. God never resurrects a sealed dream for entertainment. When it returns, it carries instruction. When it surfaces, it demands movement. When it unfolds, it commissions you. Some chosen ones wake up one day with sudden clarity about a calling they have run from their entire lives. Others experience a divine download in prayer that connects years of scattered impressions into a single revelation. Others feel a sudden shift, a divine remembering, as if heaven is whispering, "The time is now." When a sealed dream returns, doors begin to open, connections appear, instructions sharpen. Courage rises, alignment accelerates. This is when destiny begins to unfold, not as a mystery, but as a mandate. You realize that everything hidden was preparing you, everything sealed was shaping you, everything forgotten was waiting for this exact moment. And so the dreams return, not as incomplete visions, but as blueprints, not as clues, but as confirmations, not as whispers, but as marching orders. Chosen one, your forgotten dreams are not lost. They are waiting for the version of you who is ready to walk in them with power, purity, and purpose. As this journey unfolds, there comes a moment when you realize that the dream was never just about what you saw, it was about who you were becoming. Everything God has allowed, withheld, revealed, and concealed has been pointing to one truth. You are not merely a dreamer, you are becoming the revelation itself. The process has always been shaping you, carving you, refining you into someone capable of carrying heavenly weight on earthly shoulders. The purpose of the process becomes clear as you learn that you were never meant just to dream. You were meant to become the dream. This is the revelation most people miss because they cling to images from the night instead of recognizing the transformation happening in the daylight. God does not simply give dreams, He forms dreamers. He shapes destinies not through moments of spiritual excitement, but through seasons of stretching, surrender, and refinement. Your forgotten dreams were never meant to be memories. They were meant to be blueprints for your becoming. The process teaches you patience. The dryness teaches you dependence. The silence teaches you trust. The pressure teaches you strength. Every dream you couldn't recall was still working, still restructuring your inner world, still aligning your character with the assignment you don't fully see yet. God does not waste preparation. He builds the vessel before he fills it. And this entire journey, the forgetting, the longing, the awakening has been molding you, not into a person who merely chases revelation, but into someone who embodies it. And this is why daily alignment must rise above spiritual sensationalism, because the true walk of a chosen one is not built on emotional highs but on consistent holiness. So many seek signs, wonders, vivid visions, and dramatic encounters, yet ignore the quiet nudges, the small convictions, the subtle redirections that shape destiny far more deeply. God is not impressed by spiritual theatrics. He is honored by daily alignment. To maintain alignment, you must cultivate stillness, the kind of stillness that invites God's whisper into your awareness. You honor conviction instead of brushing it aside. You pray not to feel something, but to discern something. You choose obedience when no one sees, integrity when no one praises, purity when no one applauds. This is where the real transformation happens, not in the loud moments, but in the disciplined ones, not in the dreams you remember, but in the actions you take when you wake up. Spiritual maturity is not measured by how often you dream, but by how deeply you obey. And as your daily life begins to align with divine order, your very existence becomes a prophetic sign, a living message written by God Himself. Your transformation is not private, it is purposeful. The shifts happening within you, the healing, the pruning, the expansion are turning your life into evidence of God's glory. People will see the changes in you before you fully see them in yourself. You will become a signpost pointing others to God's sovereignty, favor, and faithfulness. This is why your warfare has been so intense. You were never just being attacked, you were being announced. This is why your growth has been uncomfortable. You are being shaped into someone whose presence carries meaning, even without words. Your life becomes the message. Your endurance becomes the sermon. Your transformation becomes the proof. You won't need to explain your calling. The fruit will reveal it. Those around you will recognize that something in you shifted, that a deeper authority now rests upon you, that your eyes see differently, that your spirit carries weight it did not carry before. Chosen ones are not recognized by their dreams. They are recognized by the transformation those dreams ignite. And because transformation must be anchored, spiritual habits become the tools that root revelation into your daily life. Journaling, releasing, forgiving, and listening. Without habits, revelation leaks. Without discipline, clarity fades. Without rhythm, alignment collapses. So God invites you into practices that stabilize your spirit. Journaling allows you to track patterns, instructions, emotions, and the quiet ways God speaks beyond dreams. Releasing frees you from old seasons, old wounds, old narratives that could choke the new. Forgiving unclogs the spirit, making room for fresh revelation and healing. Listening restores sensitivity to God's whispers in a world full of noise. These habits do not make you spiritual, they make you steady. They keep you aligned when emotions fluctuate. They anchor you when life shifts unexpectedly. They cultivate the stillness needed to receive divine hints and hidden instructions. Through these practices, the revelation is not only received, it is preserved. Not only understood but embodied. Not only remembered but lived. Chosen one, you are not simply waiting for a dream. You are becoming the dream, the message, the sign. You are the living revelation God is unveiling in this generation. There comes a moment in every chosen one's journey when the realm of the Spirit feels closer than it ever has before, as if the invisible world presses against the visible, as if heaven is leaning in your direction. This is the season where the veil begins to thin, where alignment becomes visible, where what once felt distant suddenly feels present, active, and alive within you. The signs are subtle at first, but unmistakable. Heightened awareness, increased sensitivity, unexpected spiritual resonance, and a quiet but undeniable shift in your inner atmosphere. You are not imagining it. You are entering a divine convergence, the moment when your spirit recognizes what your mind is only beginning to perceive. And as this veil thins, your dreams do not disappear. Instead, they begin to go deeper, rooting themselves in your spirit rather than your memory. This is the first sign that alignment has begun. You stop grasping for recall and start sensing the imprint. The forgotten dream becomes a spiritual residue that follows you into your day, guiding you without words, shaping decisions without explanation, stirring you with an unprovoked urgency. Dreams begin to transform from images into identity markers. You no longer need to remember them because you have begun to carry them. They rest inside you like seeds buried deep in fertile soil, unseen yet alive, silent yet active, hidden yet undeniably growing. You may wake with impressions instead of details, a feeling of being warned, strengthened, visited, instructed. That is not a loss of memory. It is evidence of maturity. God is shifting you from needing to recall dreams to becoming someone who lives out their meaning instinctively. What once came through visions in the night now starts manifesting in choices, courage, and clarity in the day. And as these inner shifts deepen, your very presence begins to shift atmospheres, quietly revealing that the spiritual authority within you is rising. People who once overlooked you begin speaking differently around you. Spaces that once overwhelmed you now feel manageable. Conversations carry weight. Your silence becomes powerful. Your discernment sharpens. Without trying, you begin exposing what is hidden, awakening what is dormant, challenging what is false. This shift is not ego, it is evidence that heaven has placed something inside you that earth recognizes, evidence that your spiritual tuning has changed, evidence that the authority you earned in the night seasons is now beginning to reveal itself. Your presence becomes a signal in the spiritual realm. Darkness senses it, heaven affirms it. Even your environment reacts. Conversations shift, relationships realign, hidden motives rise to the surface. This is not coincidence, it is confirmation. You are stepping into the prophetic identity your dreams were preparing you for, and as alignment increases, breakthrough nears, which is why warfare will often intensify right before the shift fully manifests. The pressure you feel is not punishment, it is proximity. Whenever something spiritual is about to unfold, the enemy attempts to create enough discouragement, distraction, and heaviness to make you withdraw. But this time, you can sense the difference. You can feel the enemy's fear. You can sense the desperation behind the pressure. You can sense that something is cracking open in the unseen. The attacks aren't random. They are indicators that the blueprint God wrote over your life is about to break through the earthly barrier. Indicators that what was sealed is beginning to unseal. Indicators that the dream you carried for years is shifting from potential to manifestation. Warfare intensifies when breakthrough is near, because the enemy cannot stop the blessing. He can only try to stop you from reaching it. But you are not the version of yourself he used to defeat. You carry wisdom from forgotten dreams. You carry authority from night battles. You carry discernment earned through seasons of silence. Pressure no longer breaks you, it reveals you. And as all these signs converge, your life begins to take the shape of God's blueprint, revealing that what was once sealed is now becoming embodied. This is the moment when alignment becomes visible, not dramatic at first, subtle, quiet, almost gentle, but unmistakably divine. The opportunities that once felt random now make sense. The connections that fell away now reveal their purpose. The doors that closed now appear as protection, and the instructions you couldn't understand now feel like preparation. Your life starts aligning piece by piece. You notice your desires shifting toward purpose, your habits transforming toward discipline, your thoughts bending toward clarity, your decisions leaning toward destiny. You are becoming the version of yourself your dreams always pointed toward. Your spirit is catching up to what heaven declared long ago, and the blueprint, the one hidden in forgotten dreams, sealed visions, and encrypted assignments, begins to show itself in the choices you make, the paths you take, and the person you're becoming. This is alignment. This is activation. This is the thinning of the veil as heaven draws near. You are not stepping into something new. You are stepping into something promised. And the promise is beginning to take form in you, around you, and through you. There comes a point in the journey of every chosen one where the spirit begins to tremble with recognition, where something deep within you whispers, "You are closer than you think." It feels like walking toward a door that has been shut for years, but is now slowly, quietly unlocking from the inside. You sense movement in the spirit, a stirring that defies language. You can't explain it, but you know something is waking up, and as the atmosphere around your life begins to shift, you stand at the threshold of remembering the sacred moment where heaven begins, revealing what was once hidden in your dreams, your spirit, and your destiny. And as this threshold draws near, everything that was hidden is about to surface, because destiny is beginning to awaken from within you. The dreams you forgot, the visions that slipped away, the impressions you couldn't decode, they were never lost. They were simply sealed. There is a divine purpose behind every hidden moment. And now, in this season, that purpose is rising like dawn after the longest night. You may feel flashes of déjà vu. You may sense deeper knowing without explanation. You may feel drawn toward decisions that don't make sense logically, but resonate spiritually. All of this is evidence that what God planted in your spirit is beginning to bloom. This awakening is not external. First, it starts inside you. Destiny does not announce itself with noise or spectacle. It whispers, it stirs, it breathes, and before it manifests in your world, it first manifests in your awareness. You begin noticing patterns. You begin understanding why certain battles were permitted. You begin recognizing why certain relationships ended. You begin seeing how the silent, painful seasons were part of a divine construction site. The hidden things surface not to overwhelm you, but to complete you, not to confuse you, but to confirm you, not to burden you, but to awaken you. Everything God sealed in your dreams, the warnings, the instructions, the assignments, the blueprint is beginning to rise to the surface of your spirit because the appointed time has arrived. And as these revelations ascend, you begin to understand that this journey was never just about seeing dreams. It was about becoming the vessel capable of carrying them. The process God allowed you to walk through was not meant to give you clarity alone. It was meant to give you capacity. Dreams show you what could be, but transformation prepares you for what must be. There is a difference between receiving revelation and carrying destiny. Receiving is effortless, carrying is costly, and only the ones who endure refinement, silence, surrender, and alignment can be trusted with the weight of what God reveals. Every unanswered question shaped you. Every silent night strengthened you. Every forgotten dream protected you. Every battle you fought in the dark built spiritual muscle you didn't know you needed. You were never being punished. You were being prepared. And now, maturity begins where mystery once remained. You no longer chase signs. You embody them. You no longer seek confirmation. You become the confirmation. You no longer run after revelation. Revelation flows naturally from your life, your choices, your alignment, your spiritual sensitivity. You are moving from dreamer to vessel, from one who receives messages to one who carries them, from one who sees glimpses to one who walks out the assignment sealed within those glimpses. This journey is about becoming the version of yourself that heaven always knew you were capable of becoming. And as you step into this becoming, you realize that your role in the unveiling is not passive. It requires alignment, responsibility, and obedience. God does not release revelation randomly. He releases it in proportion to your readiness. That is why this moment, this threshold, matters so deeply. You are being invited not just to receive more, but to rise into more. Alignment means choosing what heaven chooses, even when your emotions resist. Responsibility means stewarding what God shows you with integrity, humility, and discernment. Obedience means acting when heaven speaks. Even if you feel unqualified or uncertain, you play a role in the unveiling. Your posture matters, your decisions matter, your spiritual discipline matters. This next season is not about waiting for dreams to return. It is about positioning yourself so that when they do return, you are ready to carry them into manifestation. The unveiling is not random, it is relational. It flows to those who walk in reverence. It follows those who honor the process. It is entrusted to those who mature through seasons of silence. And now, here you stand at the threshold, aware that something sacred is opening, sensing that heaven is stretching out its hand toward your spirit. You are not stepping into a memory. You are stepping into a calling. The dreams will return, yes, but more than that, the purpose behind them will rise within you. This is the moment where spirit meets destiny, where memory meets maturity, where revelation meets readiness. You are standing at the threshold of remembering, and everything, absolutely everything, is about to shift. As we come to the end of this journey, we begin by lifting our hearts in gratitude, acknowledging that thanksgiving for God's mysterious timing becomes the foundation of our surrender, reminding us that every hidden work, every delay, every unanswered question was never a denial. It was divine orchestration, unfolding in secret. Father, thank you for the timing we didn't understand but needed. Thank you for the moments you withheld answers because you were preparing strength. Thank you for the valleys that grew our discernment and the mountaintops that restored our hope. We bless you for watching over every step of our journey, even when the path felt silent and uncertain. We acknowledge that your timing is perfect, even when our patience is not. And as we lean into this gratitude, we ask that this same gratitude opens the door for strength, for weary hearts. For you are the one who lifts the arms that have grown tired and breathes life into souls that have carried battles unseen. Lord, for every weary heart reading this prayer, breathe strength. Let your presence settle like oil upon every tired thought. Infuse supernatural endurance into those who have walked through long seasons of waiting, warfare, and stretching. Remind them that exhaustion is not failure. It is evidence that they have been fighting for something holy. From that renewed strength, we step into the promise embedded in the restoration of what was lost, trusting that you are the God who redeems time, retrieves destiny, and returns what the enemy attempted to steal. Restore dreams that faded, restore confidence that shattered, restore clarity that was clouded by confusion, restore relationships that were divinely ordained but spiritually attacked, restore passion, creativity, vision, and identity. Let the wind of restoration sweep through every dry place and bring back to life what was meant to thrive. And as restoration flows, we are ushered into a deeper place of renewed trust and clarity, where confusion lifts and divine direction becomes the compass of our next season. Father, refine our discernment, remove the fog that surrounds our decision-making, illuminate the next step, show us where to walk, when to wait, whom to trust, and what to release. Replace anxiety with assurance. Replace hesitation with spirit-led confidence. Settle our hearts with the peace that confirms, this is the way, walk in it. With clarity returning, we make room for the release of delayed blessings, knowing that what was held up is now being unleashed in its appointed time. Lord, release what has been tied up, release what has been delayed, release the opportunities, connections, resources, alignments, and breakthroughs that have been waiting for this moment. Break every invisible barrier, open every ancient gate. Let what has been stored in heaven manifest on earth. As blessings flow, we step boldly into the courage to embrace new doors, standing ready not only to receive, but to walk through what you place before us. Give us courage to say yes, even when we feel unprepared, courage to step into new assignments, courage to trust new seasons, courage to embrace transformation without fear of the unfamiliar. Make us bold enough to walk into the future with faith instead of hesitation. And as courage settles into our bones, we position our hearts in gratitude for God's silent work, acknowledging that even when we felt overlooked, you were laboring behind the scenes with unmatched intentionality. Thank you for what you orchestrated quietly. Thank you for what you healed in hidden places. Thank you for the miracles that formed beneath the surface. Thank you for the breakthroughs that began long before we saw their evidence. You are faithful in silence, steady in stillness, present in the unseen, and with full hearts, strengthened spirits, and renewed confidence, we seal every word, every promise, every breakthrough with the declaration, sealed in Jesus' name. Amen. And as we rise from this prayer, we anchor ourselves with this powerful declaration: I trust God's timing. Say it aloud until it becomes the rhythm of your spirit. Let it guide every decision, every fear, every step forward. Then, if this message has awakened something in you, subscribe to continue the journey, so the words, teachings, and revelations that follow can continue shaping and strengthening your walk. Finally, with renewed courage in your chest, walk forward with boldness. This is your season, and heaven has already gone ahead of you. Go with power, go with clarity, go with expectation. Your time has begun.